Right, good evening one and all. As you can see, the sun is setting behind me and I haven't been to work today. There's a bit of a story to this one, it's a long one. So sit yourself down with a cup of coffee and I'll tell you what's been going on today. I got ready to go to work, I've got all my work gear on, didn't happen. So what happened this morning, guys, I woke up about 4:30 having a coughing fit. So I decided I'd get up, rather than wake Skippy up coughing in her ear, I'd get up. So I got up, got myself sorted, went downstairs, let the boys out, made my breakfast, went and sat in the front room. It wasn't long after that, Skippy comes in the front room, holding her side, she's virtually doubled in pain, saying, I've got problems. So I said, okay, come and sit down. So I got her sat down, and I said, what's going on? And she said, I've got huge pains. She was holding her right hand side low down below her rib cage. She said, I've got huge problems. She said, I'm in so much pain. She said, I can hardly breathe. She said, I'm trying to breathe but I just can't breathe. I said, okay. I said, we're going to have to get you down to the doctors. So I had to wait till 8 o'clock before the doctor's phone lines open up. But I forewarned work. I phoned up work, or sent a message to my manager explaining I was going to be late. I had to get Skippy to the GPs because she's in a lot of pain. And they said you ought to take her to hospital straight away. And I hummed and hawed then whether I ought to just put her in the car and go straight over to Bury, West Suffolk Hospital in Bury St Edmunds. But no, I asked Skippy, I said, do you want me to take you straight over to West Suffolk Hospital and we'll get you looked at? And she said, no, let's go to the GP first. So we made an appointment. We got through fairly quick, which was amazing. And we went down to see the doctors at 10:10. Now, the doctor she saw, I've seen before myself, and he's a good doctor, but I wouldn't say he necessarily gets it right first time. I had an issue with him myself where I was really poorly. He diagnosed me having bronchitis. In fact, I had asthma, which I'd never had before. But anyway, this GP had a look at her, checked her all over, and said, you need some strong antibiotics. He said, I think you've made your side sore from coughing so much. So I took Skippy to the pharmacy, left her in the car and I went and got the prescription. I came back and I said to her, I don't think antibiotics is going to sort this out. I said, this is too much. She was in so much pain. She could hardly walk. She couldn't breathe. I said, I think we ought to just go over to West Suffolk. So that's what we did. We just drove straight over to West Suffolk Hospital, straight into A&E. It was a long wait, guys, a really long wait. We probably got there about 11 o'clock by the time we got to West Suffolk. Checked in, I parked the car up while Skippy was checking in, got her to the front door, and trying to untwiddle these leads, always keep tying their leads up. And I found her in the waiting room, waiting to go to the triage. But it was a 3-hour wait to see the doctor once you got through triage. So he must have sat there nearly an hour before we got to triage. That went okay. Then Skippy had to go and have a blood test. And after she'd had the blood test, she went to see the doctor. Now the doctor was very good, and he said, we need to take some x-rays. He said, see what's going on. So they took some x-rays and then decided they needed to do a CT scan. They told us what they suspected it was. Come on, this way, Soot. You're going the wrong way. Go on, this way. Go on, go. Soot, go. No, Sooty, not that way. Go on, off you go. So, they suspect it's blood clots. They said, we suspect you've got some blood clots. We need to put some she had to have an injection to try and break up the blood clots. They said, but they're not 100% sure they need to do a CT scan. But there was no availability for the CT scanner. So we've got to go back first thing tomorrow for this to be done so they can confirm yes or no whether it is blood clots. But it sounds like it might be blood clots, which means she's then going to have to possibly go on the course of medication. I'm not sure where we go from here. So Skippy's at home. I brought her home. We literally got home maybe half an hour ago. So she's sat in the front room on the sofa drinking a flat white with the telly on with her feet up. She'll probably be asleep by the time I get home. but it's been a hell of a day. It's been very, very stressful. So the boys and me are out for a walk before it gets too dark, and I'll go home and make her some dinner. She's not off her food. She can eat her food, she can drink. That's not a problem. It's just the pain she's in. She's on a lot of pain. So she's on painkillers at the moment. Come on, Snoopers. Come on, off you go. So she's on painkillers. She has got antibiotics, which we picked up this morning from the first doctor, but I don't know whether she'll be using those. I think she might just stick with the painkillers. Right, anyway guys, I better sign out. I'll put this one on for you, and then I'll do some more videos during the night so you know what's going on, keep you up to date, and I shall sign out. Love you to death and speak to you later. Okay, bye bye.